Story time with Papa Mage. My dad has some stories from the old days of Magic. Wins, losses, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. In this video, he will tell you the Black Lotus story. Welcome, Young Mage. I'm the Rhino. Young Mage is devoted to reaching and teaching young mages of all ages. Subscribe now to show your support, and don't forget to tap that bell down below to get notifications of all the cool stuff coming soon. My dad started playing in 1993 when Beta came out. This is the Black Lotus story. So now for Papa Mage.
So this story is from about 1994. I don't know exactly when, but Beta had been out, Unlimited had been out, and I think one of the first expansion sets had just come out. And Magic back then was very, very different. The rules were very different. The cards were very different. It was really easy to break things in Magic. And at one point I had the opportunity to buy a Black Lotus. I believe it was a Beta Black Lotus. And it was for a really large sum of money for a Magic card back then, and it was $15. And at the time I thought about it, but I didn't really think that it was a good idea. Now you're looking at me now going, what? You are so stupid. You should have bought it. You should have bought everyone that you could. And it's like, yeah, looking back, it probably would have made sense to buy it. But back then, Magic was still very, very new. It was really the first trading card game like it ever. And so none of us knew that there was going to be this longevity of Magic. It wasn't going to last forever. And there was some things about the game that was just really, really annoying. And one of those things, the biggest problem, was ante. And I know all you new players, and probably even players from back then, don't remember ante. Now, with ante, what you had to do is you built your 60 card deck, just like you do now. Different rules, but you built a 60 card deck. And when you sat down to play someone, you both randomly shuffled your deck. There was no sleeves. You weren't allowed to put sleeves on cards or anything like that, because it could be considered marking the cards. So we played with the cards, like this, paper. And you shuffled them just like you would any regular deck of playing cards. But you had to take one card randomly and you put it into the ante pile. Now, in some cases, the ante pile was face up, so you could see what the cards were, or they were face down, so you didn't know. But a lot of times we played where you didn't know, and the cards were pulled out face down, and whoever won the game won both cards. And a lot of you players now are thinking, well, then your deck will go down to 59 cards and the other person's deck will go up to 61. And it's like, yep, that's the way the game went. Now, buying a Black Lotus for $15 back then and putting it into a deck and shuffling that deck and possibly pulling out that Black Lotus and it landing into the ante pile, and then you lose it if you lost the game, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? I mean, the Black Lotus, as everyone knows, is a very, very powerful card. And, if you really needed it for your deck to work, the decks were a lot slower back then, in most cases. Sometimes you could pull some really impressive tricks, but the decks were a lot slower. The games lasted a little bit longer. You went through more of your deck most of the time until we really started figuring out how to construct decks. So having that Black Lotus possibly going into the ante and somebody taking it, and you think, well, okay, well, that's just one Black Lotus. You could have multiple decks. Well, back then we didn't really have a lot in the way of multiple decks. I mean, I think I ended up making, over the period of a year and a half, maybe 5 decks. We didn't have any of this ability to go online and what were the top decks, because there really wasn't a pro tour at the time. There was tournaments, and you would try to figure out how to win a tournament. And I've got more stories about those tournaments back then, but it was a good thing that not too long after that, ante went away. And I never got the chance to buy a Black Lotus for $15. And so what do you think? Was it a bad move on my part not to buy a Black Lotus for $15? I mean, you can look back right now and go, hey, that Black Lotus, if you didn't play it much, could sell it for what, $15,000? 20, 30? Yeah, especially if it was in great condition. So what do you think? Was it a bad move, or was it smart at the time? And I suppose I will do what the Rhino does and say, tell me what you think in the comments below. See you later.
Make sure you click like on my videos. It helps out a lot. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And there are a few things here and here that may interest you. I have more videos coming out soon, and until then, Rhino out.